it done. Right? He kind of gets big yards on a few catches, but this week against Minnesota, I don't know that rookie quarterback Matt Stafford will be able to get him the ball hardly at all. Bust for running back this week, power was Steven Jackson. So I'm going to try to steer away from Calvin Johnson this week, and I know that's going to be hard to do because if you have Calvin Johnson, I mean, there's no way. There's no way you can just sit him on the bench, but I'm telling you, I don't like his chances of having a big week this week against Minnesota. That's a tough defense, and, yeah, I don't know. Sleeper tight end position. Miss Lisa's here in the Basement Radio chat room, ready to do Earth Tones. It is 10 o'clock. And, yeah, I guess as soon as you're ready to take over, no problem. FM James says, I'm wondering about LT. All right, hold on a second. Let me do my sleeper and bust at the tight end spot, and then we'll talk a little bit about LT. We talked about him a little bit earlier, and I'll kind of go over what I said again. I don't mind. I appreciate you coming by. Tight end sleeper, and again, after week one, maybe not a lot of guys are sleeping. Let me just say this. Basement Radio people, if you'd like to continue listening to the Eric Pidigo Show until it's over, it won't be on much longer. Go to ericpidigo.com. Pretty easy. Just go on over to ericpidigo.com, catch the end of the show, flip back over, and hang out with Miss Lisa. She won't mind as long as you come back. Anyhow, after week one, this guy's probably not a sleeper because he did catch 2 touchdowns, but tight end Jeremy Shockey, who a season ago was completely non-existent in the Saints passing game, last week, 2 touchdowns. It seems to me like Breeze is looking for Shockey in the red zone, so it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea to plug him in. If you have him, I don't think he had a ton of catches, but he had catches where it mattered. He had catches in the end zone. So I like Jeremy Shockey this week. Not bad. My bust tight end pick, Greg Olsen. I mean, that's just a tough one. That guy only had, what, 1 catch last week? Well, that's tough. This week they're playing against Pittsburgh. I don't know. I would say Olsen, probably not a good start this week. He's my bust pick for tight end. All right, now let's get to you guys. FN James says, I was wondering about LT. Yeah, this is what I said about LT earlier, and I'll stick with it. LT has been falling off year after year for the last couple of years, and at the end of last season, I think it was pretty obvious that the LT that we've all known and loved is gone. I mean, he's gone now. What do I got? Something's happening. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, at the end of last season, I think it was clear that LT was done for, all right? Not that he wouldn't be decent to plug in at some point, but I think it was clear that he wasn't going to be the LT that we all knew and remembered and loved. And it seemed that at some point during the offseason, everyone forgot about that and went back to thinking, well, he's got something to prove and he's mad now, so he's going to come back this season and be the LT that we all remember. Well, no, that's not the case. He just can't play anymore like he could. I mean, he just can't. He doesn't. It's not an option for him. It's not about being mad or wanting to prove a point. The fact is, you can't hang. I mean, you can't hang with these young guys anymore when you're a 30-year-old running back with the kind of mileage that LT has. So, if you're in a point per reception league, he's a decent number 2 running back. He's a better flex guy. I mean, to put it flat out there, he's just not a starter anymore. And James says, okay, I have Turner and Jones. Michael Turner and Thomas Jones. I'm assuming, obviously, Michael Turner, but Thomas Jones or Julius Jones? Well, Thomas Jones had a good week. Really did. I kind of expected him to just drop off this season, but he had a good week 1. Okay, Julius Jones, he said, also had a really good week 1 in Seattle. Nothing wrong with Julius Jones. I don't know that he's going to be a week-to-week guy, though, that you can just count on. But you have Michael Turner. We had an off week in week 1, but you know Turner's going to get it back together and do better for us. I have Michael Turner, too, so I feel you a little bit there. Had kind of a rough go week 1. Let's see. Let me go back through here. Power says his starters are Tony Romo. His wide receivers are Ocho Cinco, Dwayne Bowe, and Nate Burleson. His running backs are Chris Johnson and Fred Jackson. His tight end, Shanko. Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, take it easy, Mike. Friend Mike Pendleton has to take off. See you, man. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see. Any more? No, was there something? Didn't you ask me something earlier and I told you to wait, or did I answer it and then tell you to wait? That probably happened. Elwood want to know if I ever found it. Oh, okay. Elwood, we get on Fantasy Football 101, which you can hear Saturday mornings on Sports Radio 1450 or sportsradio1450.com. Okay, anyhow. Every now and then we just get these like nut jobs that call up and think that they're funny, and so they'll throw out a couple of guys that aren't real guys. And so that happened last week. We had a few knuckleheads calling in and trying to be funny, and it's sad because these are grown men, and it's like you can tell by their voices they're grown-ups. They're not teenagers, they're grown men, adults, and at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning they have nothing better to do but to call in and make a lame joke on a fantasy football show. I mean, come on. Not the best. And they're all lame. If somebody says something funny, I wouldn't mind, but a bunch of douchebags. What? Okay, Power says, would you start Kenny Britt? I don't know if I would just start him. I mean, he seems to me like he would be more of a bye week or injury play. I mean, right? I looked at his numbers from that first week. I mean, they weren't bad, but they weren't great. Right? They were decent. I wouldn't think you would need to start him just yet. Listen, I like Kenny Britt, though. I think he's promising. And I think in the future he'll be a good start. I just don't know that I would plug him in yet. Okay, you also have Donnie Avery, Eddie Royal, and Robert Meacham. I tell you what, I'd almost say I like Eddie Royal out of that bunch the best. I mean, Denver's at home against Cleveland. Orton didn't blow anyone away last week, but didn't make many mistakes. He's standard Kyle Orton. Move the ball around a little bit. And this week, I mean, that's Cleveland, if you had to hand pick a team in the league to play, I mean, Cleveland's got to be in the top 5, right? Come on, if you had an NFL team and you had to pick another NFL team to play, obviously it'd be Detroit, St. Louis. Then you got to put Cleveland in there, maybe Cincinnati. I mean, who else? Give me one more. Give me one more awful team. Give me the top 5 teams you would want to play the most if you were an NFL team. Yeah, should you bother playing Braylon Edwards? Ah, man. That's a tough one. That guy's so good, and he's so good. I mean, we've seen him be amazing before. And going into last season, I mean, this guy was in my top 3. I think I had it like Randy Moss, maybe T.O., and then like Braylon Edwards. And for good reason, he had 16 touchdowns the season before. This guy can be good. And it's just, what is happening? I mean, what a drop-off. What a quick drop-off. I mean, last season he couldn't catch a ball. And now this season, we have 1 catch for 12 yards in week 1? Oh, man. And it's tough because the talent's there. And any week he could just go off and be Braylon Edwards again. I mean, he's not old. He's not forgotten how to play. And now this